Yo! Hey! What's up, guys? Josh says sup. Yo! What's up, guys? Chris Tutela here from... Wait, what am I from?
TTS?
Your business.
Redo here.
Yo! What's up, guys? Chris Tutela here, alongside my good friend, colleague, and co-host...
Ruben Borges. What's up, guys?
And today we have a special guest on the show, my longtime friend, Jay Bernardino, Josh Alfano. Josh, welcome to TTS Talk.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
And this is episode number 7. And today, you got that one right this time?
Yeah, I made sure I did it too, so he knows.
Yeah, last time for episode 4.
Well, Coach, what are we going to talk about today, Coach? What are we getting into?
So today we're going to talk about overcoming adversity. And what better guest to have on the show than my man Jay Bird, because he's had some recent adversity going on in his own life. And we're going to let them share that with you. We're going to let him share that with you guys today. So, Josh, let the audience know, first of all, what you got going on.
Well, July 20th, I was playing in my softball game. Everything was going good. And I hit a line drive to the shortstop, none other than, as you guys all know, Dr. Lou. Dr. Lou.
Shout out to Dr. Lou.
Shout out to Dr. Lou.
TTS client.
Stud of a player.
He could have just let the ball go through.
He could have let the ball go through, but
play.
Dr. Lou, you had to make the play.
Dr. Lou, just don't ever ask me to play softball with you.
Yeah, it's
Thanks, but no
doesn't
thanks.
wind up good. So Dr. Lou gets the line drive. So now it's a race. The cannon arm he has versus my speed, and it didn't wind up too good for me. So I wound up with a dislocated knee and 3 blown ligaments.
You stepped on the base, right? The base moved.
Yeah, I stepped on the bag with my left cleat, and as I stepped on the bag folded up. So as my right cleat passed it, it kind of caught me, which made me trip. So the momentum of my body kept going forward, but my cleat stayed planted, and my leg just snapped underneath me, as a lot of people probably seen the picture on Instagram.
Yeah, you can actually see a picture that Josh posted on Instagram. What's your Instagram account?
JBet86. That's where you can find it at.
So if you check that out, you could actually see the knee hyperextending and actually dislocating. And Josh blew out everything in his left knee, almost everything, right?
ACL, PCL, bucket handle meniscus, and I stretched out a nerve, which I have a drop foot right now until the nerve heals. So I can't dorsiflex my foot up while the nerve heals. So we're dealing with a lot right now.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so that was back in July, and then when did you get the surgery? The first, because now explain what's going on. So you had 1 surgery so far.
1 surgery so far, which I wasn't able to get until October 22nd, because a week after the injury I developed 2 blood clots in the leg. So then that became a priority. They wouldn't operate or do anything, and then I was doing therapy, and long story short, I wasn't really getting the care and therapy that I was supposed to be getting, so I wound up with a frozen knee. So I just felt like
that you couldn't flex the knee.
I couldn't bend my knee at all. It was, if I put my leg straight, it was completely locked, and I couldn't do anything with it.
Right.
So I just felt like
before the surgery, a lot of pain, right? How would you describe that pain?
No pain in my knee, which was weird with all the damage that there was. There was a lot of pain in my foot because of the nerves that were damaged. So that was, it started off with like really bad pins and needles. You know, like when your foot falls asleep?
Yeah.
It felt like my foot weighed 100 pounds. And then that kind of subsided, and then it was just like a real intense pain where if you even walk by me, it hurt. And then that kind of went away, and now it's just some like numb feelings we're dealing with. So,
and just not to cut you off, but just so everybody knows the severity of the injury. So when the knee dislocates, there's a chance that you could compromise one of the major arteries in the leg, which could result in actually getting the leg amputated. So just take us back to the when you get to the emergency room after the injury.
So I get
what
to
did
the
doctor say?
Right. So I get to the emergency room, and I was in extreme pain. So finally, they got me on some pain meds and everything. And it was about 2 hours before the orthopedic on call finally got to the hospital. So he came in the room, and he was just telling me the severity of your injury, and we have a short window to get your knee back in place, so that they were able to get me for a CAT scan to check, like Chris said, if the arteries were severed or not. Thank God mine weren't, and you know, I didn't have to get my leg amputated, but that was one of the things that he said to me, like, you can risk possible amputation. So as I'm getting hooked up to all these machines for them to sedate me to put my knee in, I just remember I kept saying, Doc, please don't cut my leg off. Please don't cut my leg off.
And honestly, just think about this moment. You went from waking up in the morning, I'm going to play a little softball.
Yeah, went to work. It was a sunny day in July,
Yeah.
having fun at my game, and I wound up in the ER with possible leg amputation.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a big scare from that moment.
I was
there.
terrified.
That'll freak you.
Yeah. So I came to a little while later, and my knee was in place, and I seen okay, I have both my legs, so whatever's going to be now, I can we can get past this. That was a small victory.
Yeah, first victory.
So then they sent me for CAT scans, MRI, X-ray, and all that. So as they're doing the X-rays, I kept saying to the guy, "I broke my leg, right? I broke my leg," and he's like, "No, I don't see any breaks. I think you dislocated your knee." Not knowing what a knee dislocation is, so I'm like, yes, thinking they're going to put my knee back in 2-3 weeks, I'll be good to go.
Like a shoulder
I'll be on a crutch or something, take some Advil, and...
Right, so the knee's not a ball and socket joint like the shoulder is, so if you dislocate your shoulder, it's not a good thing, but they could pop it back into place.
Recovery time's a little faster.
Right.
A lot easier. And
to fully dislocate your knee, you have to tear at least 2 of the main ligaments, and I tore 3 and the nerve.
Yeah, which is.
But I didn't tear the nerve. I stretched it. It's intact. It wasn't severed or nothing.
Right.
Which was a small victory too, because if the nerve was cut or severed, then I would never regain function in my foot. I will regain function in my foot. It just takes time.
Thank God. Yeah.
This is one hell of a softball game.
Yeah.
So take us through like the process leading up to surgery. You really didn't have, you weren't able to get around the house, right? You weren't able to get around on your own, like, so like, what was that process like?
I had a knee that could not bend at all. I had a foot that I couldn't, dorsiflex up, like I said, so practically I couldn't move my foot. Couldn't put weight on it, couldn't do anything, so I was pretty much...
Hence the beard.
Yeah, hence the beard. How's a look, all right? Chris told me I look like Tom Hanks in Castaway, but...
Not lying.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks is a good looking guy.
So I couldn't
do like Wilson.
No, I look like The Rock.
He loves The Rock, if you didn't know. So yeah, I couldn't do anything. I was stuck at home and pretty much needed people to take care of me and do everything. Cook, bring me food, help me shower. I couldn't do anything.
And I talked to Josh a lot about this, because I did tear my pec before, so I had that recovery time. Nowhere near the extent of this injury, but and you could explain to them too, it's not even just that, it's the ability not to do things on your own. Obviously you're very active, you were always in the gym, you're always training, working on your own body, always being active, and when that's taken away from you, it's crazy how hard it is to just kind of get back up in the, get up in the morning, start your day, start your process. Explain how hard that was for you.
Just the little things, that we take for granted every day in life. Something as simple as brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
You're trying to brush your teeth on one leg on crutches. Something so simple, when I was done, I was exhausted. I would have to go sit on the couch and take a break from something that is nothing. So it definitely, it's humbling, it's frustrating, and, with an injury so severe, you have 1,000 things running through your mind. I was supposed to get married in November. We had to cancel the wedding. I was out of work, and just, it was a lot.
Yeah, what happens there, you start to become more grateful, obviously, for certain things,
So now, you had one surgery already. What did they do in that surgery?
So the first surgery was to fix the bucket handle meniscus. So for anyone that doesn't know what that is, so basically you have 2 meniscus. You have a medial one and a lateral one. So they act almost as cushions, right, from your femur and your tib and fib.
The cartilage in between.
Right. So when my knee dislocated, it pulled my lateral meniscus with it, which it flipped it over. So they call it a bucket handle tear, because it almost is like the handle on a bucket. And how the handle flops over? So mine was flopped over the wrong way. So they had to flip it back the right way, suture it down, and then decompress my nerve, which is what's going to allow my foot to start working. It was scarred down with scar tissue, so they had to make sure it was intact and take the scar tissue off, and I'm healing from that now.
Awesome. And how long ago was the surgery?
October 22nd, so we're just about 7 weeks out post-op.
7 weeks post-op.
Yeah.
And what is the next step here? So now you've been going to physical therapy, you've been bending your knee.
Bending my knee, vigorous bending, soft tissue work, and putting in my own work too. All exercises they give me, a huge goal for me was to be able to ride a bike, which I finally accomplished that 2 weeks ago.
Nice, man.
Which that felt amazing. So I've been doing that 45 minutes a day.
And walking finally without crutches at times, right?
Yeah, right. Therapy. We started walking without crutches.
Is brushing your teeth easier now?
Yes, it is. Yeah, everything's much easier now. Yeah. Because I can put some weight on the leg and, just take care of myself now, shower on my own and do little things.
Yeah.
And, take small victories, which took a while to get used to, but, I'm just taking one day at a time, because that's really all I can do.
What's the next thing you're looking forward to? happening to improving?
So I have to go see my surgeon again January 17th, and then it's just kind of week to week, like go see him every few weeks, and I do need another surgery to fix my ACL, PCL.
Okay.
But we can't really make any decisions until I give him more feedback of what my knee is doing, because it's kind of defying physics. My knee should be very loose and unstable, but I have a stable knee.
Which is super odd.
Which is super odd, but
ACL, PCL.
right. So we don't really know the next step yet. So I will probably be in the driver's seat at the end of the day. It is my knee, my decision, but I have to, you know, speak with my doctor and going forward, what is best for me in the future.
Okay.
He said his exact words were he's well aware of what I expect out of my knee. So that's
meaning,
where
you
we're
know,
at.
like
Meaning, right? He said you're a young, athletic guy. You like to train and all that, and you know, I'm in the best care possible. You know, I went to New York to HSS.
Okay.
Hospital special surgery.
Which I was dealing with another surgeon before that, and I kind of felt like I was slipping through the cracks. So one day I just said, listen, if somebody were in my shoes and I had to give somebody advice on what to do and they came to me, I would probably tell them with the severity of this injury, you should probably go to the best orthopedic in the country, which is HSS, Hospital for Special Surgery in New York. So we did some research and we found the top knee guy there, and that's where we went.
That's awesome, man. That's definitely a good move for sure. Like, you have a serious injury.
If anyone has an injury, Dr. Riley Williams is your man.
There you go. Shout out to Dr. Riley Williams.
Shout out to Dr. Williams, the lead physician for the Brooklyn Nets and the Red Bulls.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, so you know you're in good hands.
I'm in good hands, yeah.
So now, it's been obviously a long couple months for you, right? We're recovering, you're doing the physical therapy and all that stuff, but obviously you're a super active guy. Josh has been a client here, and we've been training together since, God knows, since 2004 probably. Right,
before you even owned your own business, when it was Elite Fitness right across the street.
Yeah. We were
and me and Chris were in the gym, probably like you mentioned before, with doing like the Triple H workouts. We were like 4 hours
I told
a
you
day.
that Josh remembers that fucking book, man.
Yeah, I was probably
Making the game.
Probably about 120 pounds.
Listen, I want to get crazy.
We gotta get Triple H on the show next.
Probably about 120 pounds. Wouldn't take a sweatshirt off because you were embarrassed.
Yeah.
But came a long way.
So you've been training forever. So you had this injury. Of course, you're going out of your mind because you're not training. Because we have a lot of people who are listening who probably could relate to that. Guys that are super, and girls that are super active doing stuff, and then you get this fucking injury, and now you start wondering what the hell can I do. So you've had a nasty knee injury. You're on the shelf. Before the surgery and even post-op, what were you doing? Were you still active? Were you still working out upper body? Were you still getting some work in?
Yeah, of course, in the beginning of the injury, I wasn't doing anything because I couldn't do anything. And then once I kind of got good enough to get in the car and drive myself, I would go to the gym 3-4 days a week and train upper body, my right leg, just do what I could and to the best of what I could. Something was better than nothing, like we talk about with things.
Right.
What were some of your favorite movements, or what were some of them? You had no pain in it, you had a good pump, you felt good doing it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot different than what I'm used to, you know, like how we train here at TTS. So obviously I had to do everything sitting down, machines and all that. But even with an injury, you'd be surprised how good of a workout you still can get. And, you know, would still leave with a good pump. Like I said,
just do what you can,
just do
as safe as you can too, right?
Something was better than nothing.
Yeah.
And then after surgery, then, you know, for a little while I was laid up again. I couldn't do anything, and now I'm back to the gym 4 days a week,
how
doing what I could.
Let me ask you this: how has training kind of helped your mindset through this injury?
It helped a lot, just to get out of the house and do something that you enjoyed so much for the last 15 years. Just to be able to do that definitely put my mind at ease. And knowing that everything that I do is going to help me recover.
Right.
Because that's kind of what happened. In the beginning of the injury, you kind of get lost in a way. And then one day I just said, you know what, Josh, you're in the driver's seat. You can get the help from the doctor, which I did. You can get help from therapy, which I'm doing. But at the end of the day, I have to let myself heal and recover, and I have to, you know, control my own destiny. And that's just what I did.
I think the hard part is like kind of telling yourself to be patient.
Patience.
You know,
Patience is something you got to learn, right?
You had to wait for that date. Like, I don't know when the surgery's going to be.
You like instant gratification, like you're all doing. Something like this is not going to happen.
Right.
And just, you know, things that motivated me was just myself to get back to what I'm used to. What do I enjoy? Just everyday things like we spoke about before that you take for granted.
Right.
And then one thing I'll never forget, it was one day I was sitting at home, and it was one of those real low days, which in an injury, you have low days, and anyone that says you don't, you're not being truthful with yourself.
Right.
You have low days. I have some really good days and bad days, but it was one of those low days. My mother sent me a video of she took my niece to the beach for the first time, and she loved it and enjoyed it and was running around in the sand, and I just said, you know what? I have to get myself healthy enough to be able to go to the beach with her and do those kind of things and not be like this permanently. So, you know, you're driving your own car, and I just started putting the pedal down and really doing everything I possibly could. Right. You know, to get back to things I want to do and just enjoy life, especially, you know, for everyone that you guys know, Samantha, my fiance, just she's been, shout out to her, she's been amazing taking care of me.
Huge help for you, right?
Yeah, there's not really a word in the English dictionary that I can kind of put into perspective what this woman has done for me just so effortlessly and taking great care of me.
Wow. Shout out, Sam.
Shout out. Nice job, Sam.
Another TTS member.
Another TTS member as well,
Wow, that's awesome. So you've been going to the gym, you've been active. You said that's been helping your mindset a little bit, kind of just getting you out and about. Like, so of course, for our meatheads out there, you know, you lost some muscle, right? It's part of it, right? You lost a little bit.
Yeah,
I know. But he knows. We talked about it. We talked about it before.
Just so you guys know, Josh is a specimen of TTS. All right, he's one that everyone looks up to. He's always out there helping everyone out. He's very advanced. He's, you know, he's the legend here.
Thanks, Coach. Yeah. I was 195 when I got hurt, and I stepped on the scale the other day, and I just looked down, and I seen 170, and I'm like, oh,
it's okay, right?
Crushing,
right?
And then you look at my leg that's mangled and about the size of a pencil right now,
right?
And I'm like,
and I've been so I just want to let these guys know, like you and I have been talking, and I've been saying, like, you're gonna lose muscle. So when you get injured and you're on the shelf, you're going to lose muscle. You're going to do some training to stay active, help your mind, maybe maintain a little bit, right? But you're going to lose it. You have to anticipate it. But just remember, and I've been telling you this for months now, that muscle will come back, right? And if you do the proper things in physical therapy, you're going to get the strength and the stability you need back in your knee, and we're going to start making some more progress and putting that muscle back. But you know, it's a process.
It's a process.
So, like, what do you say? What do you have to say to guys or girls at home who maybe face an injury? They start seeing themselves losing muscle. They start seeing themselves losing weight. Because I know for me, I had a minor injury, right? I broke my hand. I had to get surgery and get my hand, my hand pinned, right? A couple years ago. And with that, the doctor told me I couldn't sweat because I essentially had open wounds in my hand because they had to put pins in there.
It was mid-July.
And it was
part of the beach season.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I would literally come in here. I had the luxury of training in my own place. But I would put the AC to like 50 degrees, and I would just like real slow pace, just do some shit with my left arm and my lower body, just to maintain. But of course, my right arm atrophied like crazy. I lost a lot of muscle.
As long as with everything else.
Right. So it took some time to work back, but you got to just keep it in your mind and really accept the fact that, all right, I am where I am. And I'm going to, once I can, I'm going to do whatever I can to progress and move forward. So any words of encouragement or anything like that for somebody who may be watching this that is facing an injury? Or,
you know, just do what you can to the best of your ability. You know, it's not your normal and what you're used to, which with an injury, of course, that's going to be, you know, what it is. But just do what you could. Something is better than nothing. Right. One of the big things that I did from day one when I got hurt, I kept my diet good. I maybe had a few cheat meals in 5 months.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about so obviously, like, one thing that people will say that aren't injured is they don't have the time to cook. They don't have, you know, whatever. Elaborate on that a little bit. Like, what did you have to go through in order to make sure that you were keeping your diet clean, or did it even change much for you? Because
no, to be honest, no. My diet didn't change much. If anything, it may even gotten better. Because I actually started incorporating a lot more vegetables and fruits than what I would normally eat because, you know, I'm not training and active as I did, so I don't need
all... to cook, right?
Well, I couldn't cook, but... but I didn't need as much carbohydrates as I would usually eat because I wasn't as active, so I lowered that down a lot, and I eat a lot more fruits and vegetables.
Earn your carbohydrates. Let that be a lesson. Earn your carbohydrates. If you're busy, if you're training and working hard, more carbohydrates you can eat.
Right. So I just, a lot more vegetables and a lot more fruits and... I just kept my diet very clean and, you know, not as many meals, but I ate very nutrient-dense foods and everything that's going to help along with my healing because I have enough inflammation and swelling in a leg that's injured. So I I don't need to give myself bad foods to create more swelling and
more inflammation.
And stuff.
We had that conversation early on.
Right.
Like we discussed, like cutting out the inflammatory foods in your diet.
Right.
So if you're eating burgers and fries and pizza,
it's not going to help the recovery process.
Right, you're just creating more inflammation. You're going to feel like shit. You're not going to have the energy, and it affects your mood. Like we've talked about before. Your gut is your second brain, so if you're eating all the flour and sugar and you're destroying your actual gut microbiome and you're getting leaky gut and all that, it's going to affect your brain chemistry. Yeah. So if you're injured and on the shelf, you're already feeling a little shitty. If you're eating shitty, you're going to start to look physically different, like you're going to start putting more body fat on.
And just feel that way.
Right, and your mind is going to be...
Right, your mind's already kind of cloudy and depressed some days as it is, and you're just going to add to it. And
it's interesting what you touched on when you said no matter what, and you're right. You're recovering from an injury, you're going to have your high days. You're going to have your days that are just real low.
And
I had a lot from the pec injury. Like I had days I would get up and I'm like, there was just no motivation whatsoever. And I think those are the days. And I mean, you were telling yourself too a lot that you got to get up. You got to stay clean. And one thing that's hard on that low day, keep that diet clean as best you can. Maybe do something that's moving or do something productive, or maybe, whatever.
Go for a walk,
book,
right?
Anything. Have a good conversation.
Sorry, right. Poor exercise selection, but for you, go for a walk. For me, go for a walk when I had a broken hand.
Gosh, read a book or watch a documentary that's inspiring or something like that.
Which actually
to get your mind straight.
That's actually a habit that I started doing. I started, reading because I have some time or whatever. Which shout out to Nick Javis, another.
Nicky J, another TTS alumni right there.
Yep. Sent me a book that I started reading. I said, you know what, I kind of enjoy it. So
which book?
Man.
You forgot the name?
Yeah, I did.
You have to send it to us later. We'll tell you guys about it next episode.
Nick, sorry about that, but it's a good book. I am reading it.
He's like, I swear. I don't know what it's about or who wrote it or what the title is, but it's good.
Something warrior.
Okay.
Something.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a good book. But I started reading, and
that helps.
Something that I didn't really do. So that's something different.
I did that too during an injury. I had a book, and it was kind of like a good morning book, kind of self-motivating, kind of get you started. I mean, something as simple as that helped me.
Yeah.
What was that
reading
book?
A page.
Don't tell me you don't know that fucking book either, dude.
It's the camera.
Joel Osteen, I know he's the
Joel
author.
Osteen?
Joel Osteen.
Oh, the church guy.
Yeah, and he has it's a self-motivating book. It relates, Bible quotes. Doesn't want to get too religious in it, whatever. But it also relates to everyday life and just how to get up, how to feel positive, and realize that you got something good going on for you.
I started journaling too. I know you're big with that.
Yeah.
I started a journal.
How does that help?
And that helped out a lot. I write down my day from what time I woke up to what I ate to how I slept, everything, and just
it's awesome.
It'll be something cool to look back on when this is all said and done, and just flip through the pages and say, man, look at this day. Remember how low this day was, or how good this day was, and
there's a good recommendation right there. Yeah,
journaling has helped out. Yeah, I just write everything.
Yeah, and one thing that Josh and I talked about a while back, I think before you even got the surgery, was having a gratuity journal and just talking about like things that you're grateful for every day. If it's you list 3 things and 3 people that you're grateful for every day, and so when you're feeling bummed out, you just remember like things could be a lot worse. Another thing that we discussed, and shout out to our boy Joe DeFranco on his podcast a while back. He had Eric LeGrand, and for those of you that don't know, Eric LeGrand is the young man who was paralyzed in a football game. He played for Rutgers. I don't even know how many years ago that was. Maybe 2010.
Maybe I feel.
Talking about overcoming adversity.
So 2011, and for that guy, it's so inspiring for me to see because, here's a guy who's paralyzed and. He has such a positive message, and what he discussed on Joe's podcast was compared to what, right? Like, his injury is brutal. It actually gives me chills thinking about it. It's like, but of course, this is a devastating injury, and it's devastating to himself and his family. And for him to say, yeah, this is bad, but compared to what? Because there's people that are starving out there. There's people that don't have a home. There's people that have a lot more going on than what he's dealing with. That's coming from his mouth, not mine.
Even as bad as that is.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
that's crazy.
So, he's a huge inspiration to me.
Yeah, to me, to everyone. And, still helping others. And, that was one of the quotes that I love. Each one, teach one.
Yeah.
Always try to help.
Yeah. And now for you, like, we discussed that. And I remember telling you that, like, that's something that Eric LeGrand said.
Yeah.
Like, I think you did adopt that mindset. Like, compared to what? Like, yeah, this sucks, but you know what? I didn't lose my leg,
right.
or it could have been worse.
Yeah.
You know, and I think at any level, you could always kind of say like compared to what, because no matter what's going on, there's something that's always maybe worse than what you're dealing with. Yeah. You know, you,
that
me, or
anyone. If you can go to a table and pick someone's problems, you wind up leaving with your own.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I don't know
yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, for sure.
There's people that deal with a lot worse than what you're dealing with, even as bad as you may think it is.
Yeah.
I also think I would tell Josh this too. As much as you don't want to believe it, and it's kind of frustrating, but everything happens for a reason. So whatever this, horrible injury was, something great's going to come out of it. However strong you be mentally.
Yeah.
You might not even know it now, but
No, I definitely don't know it. I sit there every day and say,
it's gonna
if something happens for a reason, what is the reason?
Yeah, I said like, why were you tearing
why?
those bench presses? What? There's no purpose of it. But as I realize now, there was.
If that's true, then something I know is good is going to come out of this.
And at the very least, there's a lesson that comes out. Yeah. I think that there's a lesson in everything. That anything bad or good that happens, there's a lesson, right?
Yeah,
so like fighters will say they're either going to win or they're going to learn, but you're not going to lose.
Yeah.
Like you didn't lose here. There's going to be a valuable lesson that comes out of this in some way, shape, or form. Which this has maybe even humbled you in a sense where you're like
100%. Yeah.
Right.
And really
be more grateful for the things that you do have, and just things that we take for granted every day, walking around. When I broke my hand,
we all kind of hit an injury like this where.
Well, mine wasn't as severe as you guys.
Severe, but in a way to think.
Right, but we all had to go through surgery and recovery, which is always annoying and whatnot. But for me, going to the toilet.
I didn't want to bring that up earlier, but that was a real struggle.
If anybody's suffered an injury before,
you go opposite. Yeah, it's
it's like, okay, lefty, but how do I get in there?
Yeah,
it's a lot of different movements.
I know it's vulgar.
It's vulgar. I had to do it trying to stand on one leg, balancing,
this
and
guy's
trying to wipe yourself.
juggling poodles on one leg, trying to wipe his ass.
You want to laugh? It became so hard. I had to order one of those commodes that are for elderly people because I couldn't bend. I didn't have enough mobility in my knee to sit down low enough to get on a toilet.
You should have just got a bidet put into your house.
That would have came in handy.
What is that?
The thing that shoots water in your house?
Water. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I had to get a commode that had handles that I can lower myself.
Roof will go, oh look, a water fountain.
That's disgusting, but that's I wouldn't leave the bathroom
And before we get sidetracked into something else, because we were talking about Eric LeGrand, who's a football player, I just came across a YouTube video one day and not even researching it, and it came up one day, Zack Miller's knee injury. So I just was sitting at home eating breakfast one morning, and I clicked on it, and I'm watching it, and he sustained a knee dislocation like I did, a lot worse than me. He did sever arteries and had 9 surgeries versus I'm going to have 2.
He didn't have to lose his leg, right?
No, he actually saved his leg because of the athletic trainer.
Oh,
they were in the hospital and he was losing a pulse in his foot, the video said, and they were going to take him to a hospital that was like 45 minutes away or something like that. And his trainer pulled out his phone and Googled a level 1 trauma center 5 minutes away. And he said, no, you've got to take him there, and if it wasn't for his trainer, he would have lost his leg.
Holy shit.
So I just took a crapshoot one day and I said, let me message him because I noticed that he had a drop foot also. So I messaged him, and me and him had a conversation one day for about 3 hours, and he was answering me and all that. So shout out to Zack Miller. If you don't know him, tight end for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And he's the true example of what a professional athlete should be like and a role model. And Zack, I can't thank you enough for your responses.
It's amazing. Yeah,
he helped me out big time as far as
it's awesome.
Even he sent me pictures of the foot brace he wears that I actually got made so that I can wear a sneaker to get out of the surgical shoe. Just
right. Well, speaking of,
he helped me out.
Everything happens for a reason. To go back for that, like maybe his path in life is now to be helping other people who are going through some shit, going through injuries like this, like kind of like Eric LeGrand is doing on that stage, So
and he felt like he, in an interview, he said he feels like in a way like he has to, because another young man I think reached out to him that was a high school quarterback and had the same injury and unfortunately didn't get the level of care that he did as a professional athlete and wound up losing his leg, and just said that nothing was going to stop him, and he says in the video that in a way he feels a little guilty.
Yeah.
That if he didn't get that such good care, he would have been in the same situation that this other young man was.
Wow. All right, guys, so the message that we want you to take away from this episode is that whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're facing in life, if it's an injury, some type of trauma, some type, some emotional, physical, whatever that is, just know that there is a way around that. There is a way out of it. You can stay positive. Yeah. You can stay active. You can keep moving forward, as cliche as that sounds, right? You could keep putting in the work, because there's a lot of people out there that may face a devastating injury and they kind of throw in the towel, or
they just don't know how to deal with it.
Right. There's some people that may say, "Why me?" or they're so overwhelmed.
And those down days are okay to have, where those days where you don't want to get up and do anything. I believe that's part of recovery and healing. And like we said earlier, anyone who says that, "Oh, I didn't have any dark days," you're not being true to yourself, because you. Right. I just feel like it's part of it. You kind of have to have
it's part of the process. Yes. It's part of the process. And so that's the thing. Like, you're going to face those days. You're going to have those thoughts. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be in pain. You're going to be upset, depressed. Whatever it is. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. And if you keep working towards it and putting in, getting up and going to the gym, making sure you're doing everything that you can in physical therapy, eating right, staying positive, journaling, reading. Like, these are the things that you have to keep your mind in check. You have to also keep your body in check too, whatever it is. For me, it was training my left side of my body, my legs. Ruben was basically the same thing, right? Like, he did minimal work. Josh, obviously not getting much leg work, but he's getting upper body work, sitting on machines and just doing some pressing, some pulling, just some basic stuff.
Yeah. Take advantage. We say you have bad days, they're good days, right? Yeah. Take advantage of those good days. Right. That's when you can incorporate a lot of this stuff, and that'll help you.
Right. And Josh, I just want to say, man, you're an inspiration to me. Like, what you're doing is no easy task, and you're going to get through this, brother. And we're with you every step of the way, dude. You got our support for sure.
Thanks for having me on.
Come back bigger and stronger, brother.
Yeah.
I will be back, TTS.
He's coming back.
I'm healthy enough, I'm coming back.
Come back, kid, baby. He's going to be breaking records again.
Yeah. Want to bark?
No, that didn't work out too well.
Don't subject yourself to that. Don't subject yourself.
But he will be back, guys.
I will be back. I'm down, but I'm not out.
All right. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Just a reminder, head over to my Instagram. It's Chris_Tutela. You could also find me, Chris Tutela, on Facebook. Head over, check out my blog, Chris Tutela, Tutela.com. We got tons of great info out there, all free information. Coach, where could these guys find you?
Guys, you can find me on Instagram @_Ruben, RUBEN_Borges, BORGES. Guys, a lot of great information there, a lot of great exercise you can do if you're recovering from injury as well. There are a lot of variations, a lot of alternates there.
Jay Bernardino, where could these guys find you?
Instagram at JBet86, or just on Facebook at Josh Alfano. And
JBet is 2 T's, right?
2 T's, yes.
JBETT
86.
Yep. And that's when you guys see that picture of that action shot.
Yeah, the action shot's on there. And if anyone's going through an injury, or if I can help out anyone, I would be more than happy. DM me, whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up today's episode. We will catch you next week on another episode of TTS Talk. He's like, I think this is
I'm not doing the barking like Ruben.
You always say, tiene el gato en los pantalones.
Tengo el gato en los pantalones.
Yeah, there you go. Says it to my grandma all the time.
You know what that means? I said it to his grandma. I got a cat in my pants.
She goes, see?
His grandma's like, listen to a word I'm saying.
She just said,
She just nods her head. See? Okay, what I'm saying?
Loco gringo.